Hello, and you're listening to FPcast, the official podcast for Fruitless Pursuits, where we bullshit about the week in pop culture. I'm Luke.
I'm Jacinta.
And this week, we're talking about...
Movies, television, collectibles, video games, comics, books, board games, and more.
Magnificent.
What a magnificent start. A couple of things here. One, when we say the thing that we're going to talk about, we don't usually just say the title. We try not to.
Yeah.
So you threw me there.
Yeah, well, I didn't say the title, dude.
I know, but then they compelled me to say 7.
No.
But...
No, man.
But... I know I did this with Kubo and the 2 strings.
Yeah.
I really was concerned about whether or not we had gotten the 2 strings worth.
Yeah,
or whether
yeah.
there were 3 strings.
Yeah.
What constitutes a string, etc.
Which I think when we actually did that review, we never actually discussed that.
Yeah.
We let in going, we're going to talk about how many strings there were, and
Well,
we
you
never
couldn't
did.
because it was spoilery.
Well, yeah.
But, and when I saw Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies,
Yeah.
I couldn't name who were the 5 armies. No one can.
I think that maybe the goats were an army by themselves.
The goats were definitely an army.
Yeah.
But then there's people that are like, oh, the orcs were an army, but then, were the eagles an army? There's lots of... It's very difficult. You start
Even
to do
Tolkien doesn't know, and we can't ask him now.
No, because he's dead.
Yeah.
Unless you summoned his
Maybe the ghost army.
which is unlikely. You'd have to find that little crack in the rock. Get in there and suss it out. Barter with them. But, Magnificent 7. I actually reckon there's 8.
No, because 2 of them didn't count.
I think there was a clear 7 that the movie puts forward.
Yeah.
But,
And then 1 leaves and 1 substitutes in to make 7.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then 1 comes back. And they're all still doing it. No one quit. That's 8.
I still think it's the 7. It's the 7 that start the journey is the 7.
I think the one I'm thinking of was there right at the very beginning of the journey. In fact,
Yeah, but
I think we saw
weren't-
that
but they-
character before anybody else.
We did, but also they excluded that character from the 7 multiple times within the greater narrative.
Only because that character lacked something that the other 7 had. And of course, I am talking about a dicky dick.
Yeah.
No girls allowed in the
No.
Magnificent 7, even if they're pulling their weight.
No, exactly.
But you need to
They
be
should
able
be
to...
pulling something else.
Yeah, you need to be able to pull your pud in order to be in the Magnificent 7.
Yes,
I've
correct.
heard Americans say pull your pud, which I understand if you saw it written down, but it's short for pudding.
Yeah.
You don't have pudding.
well, you also don't have Craigslist. So, we've just got to allow them their little eccentricities.
Graham crackers.
Oh, God.
I was shocked to find that they don't weigh a gram.
Let's not start down that track.
They weigh a kilogram. Anyway, I think that the numbers were not quite right. So, but look, we're going to review Magnificent 7. It's not going to be just an audit of the characters. We will actually review that and talk a bit about TV, because it's really been not a lot of trailers and stuff, but a big TV week.
All the fall premiere shows have been premiering and coming back and all that sort of thing. So we've had a week off. I've had a week off work. You've had a week off work, and I've been watching a shitload of TV.
Yeah, so I guess that's really where we should open as well, is just the fact that we have been away for 2 weeks. Happy birthday to you. Your birthday yesterday. We're recording this on the Friday.
Yes,
so,
the 29th.
You'll have been...
21 again.
Yeah, I know. So crazy when I think that you were 19 when we started this.
Yeah,
so young.
So young.
I've stolen many a youth.
Yeah.
Many a youth's youth. A youth's youth? Hard to say.
Yeah.
Easy to do, though. Little remorse. So, so happy birthday.
Thank you.
I haven't given you your present yet. We're waiting for Suzanne, but it's just a shame. That would have been a nice thing to talk about on the show, but never mind. I was away as well because last Saturday I got my rather epic tattoo. Now, this thing's way crazier and bigger than I was anticipating.
How big did you think it was going to be?
I thought it'd be smaller. I don't know, probably about half that. But it's
no.
shoulder to elbow. Well, it was one. I knew it was going to be one sitting.
Yeah.
But it was a one sitting. It was 5 hour sitting, and it is shoulder to elbow. A picture of Black Widow, and not a cartoon version like my other ones. This is a quite realistic rendering, very good likeness too, of one of the promo images from Avengers. It is amazing. Rare to find someone who does really good portrait tattoos, and my tattooist Chris is he's hella hardcore. He did this whole thing just in one 5 hour session. Nailed the likeness, and was a really cool guy to boot. So very happy with that, except it still hurts. Definitely the most painful tattoo I've had, but like, what a fucking tough guy, going from, and you were there when I got my first one, absolutely terrified, to a 5 hour sitting.
Yeah, it's almost as if like tattoos aren't really very scary.
5 hours are a bit. What's your longest sitting?
It's over 2, I think.
Yeah.
Well, mine are all lines. So.
Yeah, but look, rookie. Like when he was.
Don't fucking call me rookie.
When he was hammering that fucking ink into that shoulder bone, I tell you what.
Mate, you can have some fine lines done on your inner thigh and then come back and talk to me.
The fine lines are fine. Like when he was doing her facial features, that was great. The background fucking hurt.
Your arms are like the least painful place.
Come on. Anyway, I'm really tough, and it's awesome.
You are so tough, and you're the toughest person to ever get a tattoo.
I'm the only person to ever get a tattoo.
Yes, that's right. No one has ever had a tattoo before.
No, but seriously, I've been watching Ink Master. I've been watching the new season, Peck versus Nunez. And there's so many times.
Love Nunez. Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah, so many times when they go, oh, that can't be done in 6 hours. Can't do it. We can't do something that big. Can't do something that detailed. And I'm like, my guy can. Look at my fucking portrait.
Yeah, and a lot of those things they're working outside of their style, though.
Yeah, my guy is a Guinness World Record holder.
Yeah, he's working in his style.
No, he can do anything.
Yeah, okay.
He is an ink master in my book. He's the master of ink. I'm the master of pink. Not really. Used to be. A long time ago. Force Friday.
Yes.
It's Force Friday.
It is, yeah. Not maybe quite as forceful as I was thinking it was going to be.
What is Force Friday for those who don't know / care, which I think is probably more likely?
So Force Friday is when all the new Star Wars toys come out and they try and make a big marketing thing of it and get you all excited about the toys and
not just, a new wave of toys or anything. This is the launch of the new toys for the new film. So last year Force Friday was all the Force Awakens stuff. This year it's all the Rogue One stuff.
Yeah, and the Force Awakens one was pretty cool. I couldn't get there until after work and the shelves had been fairly well rated by the time I got there. I ended up buying a Biker Scout guy that didn't even end up being in the movie, so that was
that's Star Wars collecting.
That was some well spent money there. But they had for the last one at Toys R Us they had like a big display set up. There was heaps and heaps of stuff. And this morning, not so much.
I think the amount of stuff's probably about the same, to be fair. However, they didn't have the big display. They didn't have all the big signage and posters and stuff, which we had last time. And Target had a Force Awakens shop last year with all big signage and character pictures and everything. And this year I went into the Target in the city and the Target in Carousel today. They had absolutely nothing. Not a single Rogue One thing. They just did not even bother, which I think's huge. Because they obviously had a big relation. I mean, they had a Star Wars catalogue last time. So they obviously had a close relationship with Hasbro and everybody. And I don't know if it just wasn't offered or they just didn't give a shit this time.
Maybe, I guess, unless the marketing's a bit different for Rogue One.
Or they got
maybe
burnt last time.
Yeah, maybe. Because they were left with a lot of, you would go into that little mini store, months afterwards, and there was a lot of just like shit hanging around that people weren't buying, those vehicles and that sort of thing. So maybe I did actually go into Target on, when was it, Wednesday, yeah, and they had broken street date on some stuff, and I bought one of the 2 packs of figures, so they're out there, but I think people may have just bought the little bits and pieces that did go out.
Yeah, some real issues for me. The 3 3/4 inch this time, they have only released one wave. It's some reports that the second wave is out there somewhere. We certainly didn't see it. But that first wave only has 4 Rogue One figures. It's Felicity Jones, 2 Dickbot, a Stormtrooper, which just looks like Stormtroopers that you've got already, and then some Death Star gunner guy, which also looks like a figure I've got already. So what the fuck? Like, where's all the other dudes?
Yeah.
In the 2 packs, you got some of the aliens, and you get the Death Trooper. But if you want bloody Mendo is Orson Krennic,
Bloody Mendo.
out of luck. So that wasn't too exciting, but got some of the 6-inch figures and got some of the Lego as well. I got Orson's space shuttle, which looks pretty cool, but I haven't built it yet because we only just got back from the shops, mate. But yeah, I think this is where they got burnt in Force Awakens as well, is that, and I blame whoever's doing the licensing. Why are they bringing out so much merch based on older stuff? Like, if you look at the stuff that's still sitting on the shelf in Target, it's things like big plush Chewbacca's and big plush Yodas and things like that. We have had 30 years to buy Yodas. We've all got Yoda. Like, if you could go and get Reys and Kylos and Finns and Poes and stuff like that, I think it would have been far more exciting, and it's the same here.
Yeah. But even then, like I'm saying, if you going into Target even early this year, post Force Awakens, a lot of what was left over is a lot of those really shitty looking like Poe figures, like those 6 inches and whatever, and then they bring out a new wave and they give you a new Poe, and it's like, I don't even want that.
Yeah, because they've done a shitty job.
Yeah.
They're certainly better with the troopers and things like that. Anyway, I'm sure this isn't very exciting for a lot of people, but yeah, not enough stuff. But I am looking forward to putting together that Lego thing. Because I'm a big babby. Look at me, I'm a big babby playing with my construction toys, as it said on the sign. No proper Rogue One signage, but they did have something that said that they were selling construction toys.
Yes. And I did feel quite bad for the Cannington Toys R Us this morning. They got the 501st down there, the Star Wars cosplayers, and there was about 4 or 5 of them down there. There was a couple of Scout Troopers, which I was actually pretty excited about because they're my favourites. They're just standing around because no one really gave a shit about them.
I was there about 3 minutes after it opened, and I was the only one buying. And when I went to the register, the girl was like, who was dressed as Padme, and was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realise anybody was here."
Oh, yeah. A bit of an anticlimax Force Friday this morning, I think. Especially considering, last year, like, I didn't go for the opening, but I drove past Toys R Us Cannington on my way to work, and there were many people waiting there before 8 o'clock.
And last year you could get, like, a Finn, a Poe, a Rey, a Kylo, a Phasma on the first day.
Yeah.
Like, you really could get the bulk of those characters, which you can't do. You can't assemble the Rogue One team today unless you're in somewhere which has the second wave, and even then I think you might be lucky. And last year, the big thing about Force Friday that excited me was I got that amazing remote control BB-8, which was just this fantastic thing. So anyway, yes, enough of that. Let's talk about some movie news. Rumours.
Yeah, sure.
Things.
Yeah.
There was a rumour that got us excited.
Oh my god.
Very excited.
Very excited for about 24 hours.
Here's something. Look, now we finally come back after 2 weeks, and people are like, "Why did you come back? You're talking about all this stuff we're not really that interested in." But
yeah.
Rumours. It was Maggie Smith.
Yeah, so Maggie Smith won an Emmy for, like, Best Supporting Actress or whatever.
Best Maggie Smith.
Best Maggie Smith, she should be winning all of the awards forever because she was the best thing in the best show of all time.
Yeah.
Being Downton Abbey, of course.
Yes.
And post that win, there was sort of some kind of non-news or not really a rumor because it was sort of said by a cast member that the guy who played Andy, who was the nice sort of well-meaning kind of butlery guy towards the end of the series, came out and said, oh, well, yeah, no, now Maggie Smith's signed on for the Downton Abbey movie, it's definitely going ahead.
Yeah.
And everyone went, hold the fucking phone! What is happening here?
Yeah. So I got my sleeping bag.
Yeah.
I went down
Camped out the front of the movie
a vent in a loo.
Yep.
And put the sleeping bag down, and I said, first in line, motherfuckers! Like, really loudly.
Yeah.
And they were like,
For what?
Rogue One, Doctor Strange. And I was like, no, Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
Going Downton, baby. And then I sang that downtown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. But then the guy who plays Branson on Twitter sort of made some remark saying...
Branson's the under butler.
No, Branson's my dude.
Oh, Branson's
Chauffeur.
Yeah, the chauffeur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does technically outrank Andy.
Well, he does towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because
at the beginning.
The beginning,
not
not
so
really.
much.
Well, Andy wasn't there, but anyway, yeah. Anyway.
Spiritually.
So Branson guy tweeted, oh, isn't it funny how, things will sort of get a life of their own when taken out of context? And someone sort of replied to him and went, so does this mean that it's not happening? And he replied and said, well, I guess it's not happening, but nothing's really been kind of finalised or anything yet. So, I don't want to destroy your dreams, but yeah, kind of. It's not really happening.
Maybe they just haven't spoken to Branson yet. I mean, is anybody like that excited about Branson?
Yeah.
Nah.
Come on, if they are doing a movie, it would be like not having Branson would be like not having Lady
they're
Mary.
gonna have Branson. They're gonna have him, but Mark Hamill got the call quite late for Force Awakens.
Mm.
We had the others confirmed, and he kept saying, "But no one's called me. No one's called me."
Yeah, but maybe he was full of shit too.
No, I think he was just bitter. He was full of angry, bitter shit.
full of vinegar.
And maybe Branson, because look at where Branson left off. Branson.
He was having a great time.
He was
having a very good time.
Having an alright time. But it's got to be about the family.
It's the family.
It's got to be about, Lady Mary kicking ass and
Lady
taking names.
Mary just settling down to civilian life.
It's got to be
popping out children.
Yeah, popping out children, and the servants are having a illegal baby fighting ring.
Yes.
Downstairs.
Yeah, run by Barrow.
Yeah, because Barrow is a prick, and if he,
I love Barrow.
if he could earn,
an extra bob,
and then if someone will tell Carson, and Carson will surprise you because he'll be like, "Well, babies, I've never put much stock in them, to be honest. I think if somebody's finding a use for them instead of them sitting around and doing their little poos." Then that's fine.
Yeah. But for real though, if they do a Downton Abbey movie, there's it's odds on they're going to kill off Maggie Smith.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
They have to.
Because
it's a race against the clock.
Well, absolutely. And that's the thing, if they kind of close off that chapter, they get rid of, old lady Grantham and she's the kind of the tie to the past and everyone's moving forward now. What's to stop them, doing a future series or doing Christmas specials or something like that? They don't have to worry about getting Maggie Smith back.
Well, it's just Julian Fellows, isn't it? That's the creator,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's just him, because everybody can make money off this thing. He's just got to decide whether he wants to pull the trigger. And to be fair, as excited as we may be about, because this is basically like the British Avengers.
Yeah, absolutely.
As excited as we are, the show only finished in December last. It hasn't even been a year. So maybe his interest would be to just let it cool down a bit. Except, Maggie Smith's not going to be around forever.
And also, your audience is they might
They're
die.
an old audience.
They might die too.
Even when you're listening to this, every 10 seconds, a Downton Abbey hardcore fan pops its clogs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've not seen any, and if anybody can find a picture of this, put it on our Facebook page, but I haven't seen any Downton Abbey tattoos. I want to see something just amazing. Lady Mary just, with a flapper hair.
Like one of those sailor tattoos, but Lady Mary.
Yeah, like something with a scroll with some text on it, I think would be really good. And maybe some sort of imagery from the show. Maybe her, like the paper bag with a diaphragm in it. That'd be quite good. Or what about...
in American traditional style.
Yeah.
Like with the big thick lines and stuff.
Or what about the Lord of the Manor spewing blood?
Oh, yeah.
And it says, "Hugh's the daddy."
Nice.
I think that would be really good.
Nice. I guess the reason there aren't that many Downton Abbey tattoos is just that the skin of 80-year-old women is so frail.
Well,
you know
look,
what I mean?
They might have tattoos, but you just don't know.
Don't see them.
Because women over a certain age are invisible even in real life.
Well, yeah.
After 40, invisible in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. 40's fine, like, if you're in civilian life. If if you're at a restaurant or a library or like a daycare center or something like that. But 60, forget about it.
Yeah, retirement age. Off you go.
Yeah. Get on a cruise, put on your slippers, stay inside, watch your stories or whatever. But yeah, they just disappear. So, race against the clock. And plus, they might have Downton Abbey tattoos, but who's going to pry apart all those folds and wrinkles to check?
Yeah.
Though,
I mean, they will, I guess, for going to do the movie, maybe they do give it a year to cool off, give a chance for Michelle Dockery's new TV show to get cancelled.
Yep, that happens soon.
So that she has free time. Holy shit, if that thing lasts more than a season, I will be so shocked.
I think there's options, even if Maggie Smith did pop her clogs between now and then.
CGI is so good these days.
I don't even know if it would have to be CGI. I'm thinking, like, what happened to that Yoda puppet they used in The Phantom Menace? Like, put a bit of flesh tone on it, put a wig, push the eyes further apart, and who's that? It's Lady Grantham. That's who it is.
Wow. She's
No.
a national treasure, Luke.
What about the Yaddle
And you're
puppet?
comparing
What
a
about
Yaddle?
the Yaddle puppet? Where's that? That's got to be in a filing cabinet somewhere. They keep puppets in filing cabinets. All the Muppets are in filing
really?
cabinets. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, gee, what's in here? Well, Grover, for a start.
Is he under G for Grover?
Yeah, he's just behind Gonzo. So look out for that. Why not? Same drawer. Filing cabinet. Oh, we've got Gonzo. We've got Grantham. We've got Grover. There you go. Get Yaddle out of the wide drawer, redress it, put her in with the G's. Anyway, what was her first name? Lady.
Violet.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, it is Violet.
I think
I'm trying to think Isabel is Matthew's mother, and Violet is... Yes. Okay.
Let me just check my Downton Abbey family tree.
Oh, I got so much Downton Abbey shit for my birthday. It was amazing. I probably could check my Grantham family tree now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. Anyway.
All right. So we don't know about that, but
Hopeful. We're pretty hopeful. Even if it's a TV movie, Julian Fellows, give us what we want.
What if it was animated?
Oh, that'd be fine. Well, haven't we talked about an anime Downton Abbey
we
before?
have. What if it was the Lego Downton Abbey movie?
It'd be so good. They'd push people down the stairs and they'd break apart. And,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I want that too.
And
I want all of these things.
Lady Mary.
Her little diaphragm pops out.
It's just a single stud. Okay.
Anyway, in terms of things that are funny to us and to absolutely no one else, we'll stop that now.
Okay, yeah. All right. Now the show's really starting.
25 minutes in.
So, Jon Favreau, right?
Yes.
What a
Lover
guy.
of pies.
What a character. Loves a pie. Because I remember him back in Swingers. Sharp looking dude out cruising for ladies.
Yep.
I remember him in Maid. He's a boxer in that. Cut as fuck. Yeah. Then somewhere after that, and directing Iron Man, he ate a lot of pies. And I think at first he was probably stealing them from windowsills. But you reach a certain level of fame, and
you can buy your own.
You can get someone else to steal them for you, and unfortunately, that cuts out the 1 bit of exercise that you're getting. So he's good at eating pies. and he's good at making films.
Yes, he is.
For the most part. Sometimes he'll, like, fizzle out a little, like, Iron Man 2 Quest for Strawberries, but I think that was, like, studio pressure to just, you know, push that one out. That one had some trouble. That was a breech birth.
He was, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he did Cowboys versus Aliens.
Never saw that, but
Took
yeah.
2 great things. And then added another 2 great things. Oh, how about Daniel Craig? How about Harrison Ford? How about those 2 great things? I just popped them in there with
you want
the
James
Cowboys.
Bond? You want Han Solo? Let's
Cowboys
do it.
and Aliens. Sounds like a winner. It wasn't. But third time's a charm, because this year he gets back into bed with Disney.
Oh, there's a big bed.
Yeah, well, he's right in between Mickey and Minnie, who have they have a small bed because they're mice.
Yeah.
But Goofy and Donald sometimes sleep over. And Pluto
Only when Mickey's not there, though.
lays at the fire. No. Cuckolded by a fucking duck. Sailor duck.
Duck-holded.
Daisy or Minnie?
Oh, what, you're asking me?
Minnie wears pants. Daisy doesn't. Do you find that interesting?
Minnie's a modest mouse.
True. So, where was I going? Oh, yes, we made Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And we sort of speculated about this a little bit because something that I realised at the end of Jungle Book, which we loved, we really loved Jungle Book. Cool movie. Go and see it if you haven't. It's probably on Netflix or something. But you realise that at the end of that movie, the Disney computers must just be absolutely filled with CGI animals and leaves and jungle and stuff. All those assets just sitting there because people were just like, oh, I'll make a water buffalo. I'll make this. I'll make this thing. And they're all just packed in these computers somewhere. Oh, look at this Bagheera. And then someone goes, well, what if we added a mane? You know, like what if I put a mane filter on some of these big cats? I've got this new add a mane app where you can choose your favourite big cats and just add a mane. And they go, oh, won't that be difficult? And they go, no, Hakuna Matata. That means no worries, mate. And something clicks.
Ding.
The light bulb comes up above everyone's head. They get Favs on the phone, they say. What's their plan?
So, they are making a live-action Lion King. And this has come direct from Disney. This isn't rumours. This isn't, like, bullshit whatever. They have got Favreau. They are fast-tracking this shit. We are having a Lion King.
Can't help but feel you had a far quicker way of getting that information across than I did.
I think that happens, like, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's usually the way.
So that's what happens. So, and they said as well, songs. They realised songs are important to us. Because, you know, everybody, like, loved the songs in Jungle Book. There were only 2 of them.
Yeah.
But when they came on, God, did we all sit up straight and perk our ears and put down our phones.
I'll be interested to see how they do it. Obviously, Beauty and the Beast, there will be the songs, I guess.
You need the songs.
To see how they incorporate it. But, yeah, you can't do it without the songs. But I guess it's, you know, how they're going to have the animals singing without it seeming a bit too cheeseball.
No, look, it's Favs. It's not a cheese ball. This isn't like DreamWorks. This it'll be fine.
The only thing that does worry me, and this is a really weird specific thing, like, you know Timon, right? The little meerkat?
I call him Timon.
It's Timon. That's what they call him in the movie.
Timon.
So if you look at Timon in the movie, he doesn't actually look like a meerkat. He doesn't. No, his head is just not anything like a meerkat. Now, if they're going to have... Like, I've watched a lot of Meerkat Manor, and I have seen meerkats, like, in front of my face. I don't know how they're going to have a little meerkat appearing to be this, like, kind of confident, swaggy little meerkat with a warthog hanging out. If they're doing it as a real meerkat, they're not swaggy little animals. They're nervous little pinchy things.
When you say this worries you, is this like, have you lost any sleep?
It was literally the first thing I thought of. Literally, when they announced this, I'm like, but what are they going to do with Timon? Like,
Look,
the meerkat just...
Remember those funny animals that in Jungle Book, the 3... Were there 3? The little animals that watch Baloo. Yeah. Fine. They were little. They were great. They were so good. Look, it's all animation, right? Like, just, he'll be swinging his hips and thrust in the air, and he'll have those like sly Garfield eyes and a big grin, and he'll be leaning on things with one arm and kicking one little leg back, and it'll be just great. And he'll be wearing the little hula skirt. Remember that? He'll be doing that. He's a big pig. Yub nub. That's Ewok talk.
Yub nub. Yeah.
You can be a big pig too. Looking at you, Favs. And Favs is playing Pumbaa, which I think is amazing. And he's going to just basically paint himself a kind of reddy brown, and he's going to do all his own farts by eating all his own grubs.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's an exclusive from us. That's something that we investigated.
We review body shaming and exclusives. The other thing is that, like, Lion King was only like 20 years ago or whatever. All that cast is still alive. Are they going to keep the same? I couldn't imagine Scar not being Jeremy Irons.
How do you reckon Jonathan Taylor Thomas sounds?
Well, not Jonathan Taylor Thomas, obviously. He can't be Simba. You can have Matthew Broderick as adult Simba still.
Yeah.
Yeah. James L. Jones as Mufasa.
Nathan Lane.
Yeah. He's
He'll come back
probably
in.
not doing anything.
Rowan Atkinson.
As Zazu. Yeah. Exactly.
Rafiki.
Who was Rafiki?
A distinguished gentleman.
So I wonder what they're going to do with that voice cast, because they were all, like, that was the whole thing. Like, everyone in that voice cast were somebody. Really. They weren't just randoms.
And the Rowan Atkinson bird has Rowan Atkinson's mole. So if you change it, you got to have someone else, like, different. And it had his eyebrows as well. Yeah. God, how pissed off would he be if it was somebody else and it still had his mole and his eyebrows?
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, he'd probably be able to sue.
He probably could.
He'd be
Representation.
Able to,
of likeness,
that's my likeness. Yeah, because that's what Crispin Glover sued for Back to the Future 2. Because he wasn't in the film, but they sort of made it look like he was, and they reused old footage, and they put the actor in the prosthetics upside down and stuff to try and hide it. He was like, that's not me. People are going to think that's me. That's not me. They're going to think I'm hanging around like a loon. Like, hanging around like a lemur in my own movie. You know? That's not cool, is it?
Sure.
Okay. And finally, Sam Neill.
Of Hunt from the Wilder People. And Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park? Yeah. So that guy.
Yes.
What's he going to be doing?
He's going to be in Ragnarok. Everybody's in bloody Ragnarok.
Thor 3. Well, it's just an Australian thing, isn't it? They shot up here. He said, I did a couple of days on Thor.
Yeah.
Just went up there.
Pretty good. And
Did
I
a couple
imagine,
of
like,
days.
Sam Neill was probably playing, like, Keith Urban's dad. Like, they're both from New Zealand. They're probably related. Pretty sure that's how that works.
Executioner's dad.
Yeah. Dad's Executioner.
Dad's Executioner. Could be.
Yeah.
And of course, he'll
Space Dad.
be reunited with his Jurassic Park friend, Jeff Goldblum, who's playing the Grand Master.
Yeah.
Who looks to be a sort of collector-y kind of cosmic character.
Yeah. Though they probably weren't on set at the same time.
Well, because that would be explosive, I would think.
Well, yeah, they have to keep them separate through very special glass.
Because of chaos theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be very, very tricky. I don't know, maybe he's just playing a really minor role. Maybe he's just hanging out with friends. Maybe he's, like, in a scene, like he's Odin's manservant.
He's the Raven Keeper.
And he comes and he kneels in front of him. Because Sam can kneel.
He can.
Like
It's
nobody's
like-
business.
He's the best at
Well,
it.
that's where surnames come from. It's like about
Yes,
what you
I
did,
know.
you know? Like if you're John Baker,
Yes. 'Cause
chances
your people
are
were bakers.
there's some bread in your history there. Maybe some buns, some scrolls in there.
There were definitely some buns in some ovens.
Some savoury bites, perhaps. Finger bun.
Ooh.
Hello.
Sticky finger bun. Ooh.
The pink one, please. Hello. Oh, hello, governor. So, kneeling, little visual gag. Oh, here's Sam kneeling again, they'll say. on the Thor floor. He's kneeling. Anyway, that'd be good. We're always happy when good old... Oh, he's a New Zealander, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, fuck him. We saw Magnificent Seven.
We sure did. All 7 of them.
All 7. 8, possibly. Leave that for you to decide. Should you check it out? You did some prep for this.
I did. I'd never seen the, well, I say original. I feel like there was...
Wasn't the Seven Samurai the original?
Seven Samurai is the original one, which I didn't get around to watching, but I watched the Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen one from the 60s. And, yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it.
Who played their roles in this one?
It wasn't a 1-1.
It wasn't a 1-for-1?
No, it wasn't a 1-for-1. That's
so some of them played 2?
No, there wasn't a direct kind of character.
There were 7 different people.
Yes, there were 7 different people, but it wasn't a direct translation that I could say this guy was the Yul Brynner,
Chris
this
Pratt
guy
was Yul Brynner. Wasn't necessarily.
No.
But did they have the character names? Joshua Faraday.
I don't think so. Well, because a lot of the
What about Billy Rocks?
Billy Rocks was not one.
Okay.
I think probably like Denzel is probably the Yul Brynner-ish character. Chris Pratt is Steve McQueen-ish.
Ish.
But the characters, they don't follow the same kind of
trajectory.
Path.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I really enjoyed the original. Like, it is, I guess, fairly slight. It's pretty simple. It's a very straightforward. There's a town. And they're being harassed by some bad guys, and they hire some guns to come and protect them, and then there's a shootout, and everything's great at the end. And
yeah, and that's exactly the same very thin plot of this film. There's not it's very, very simple.
Yes, absolutely. It's just slightly different, the team that they put together, really. And, that's it.
A little belabored sometimes for me because it's so simple, because you know where it's going and you're kind of like, well, how long are we going to take to get here? So it was a little bit slow on occasion for me. That said, for the most part, I did enjoy it. I was entertained, mainly because of the cast and their chemistry. Obviously, I like Chris Pratt, but I still don't feel, and I felt this with Jurassic Park, that he settles into these kind of roles particularly easily. He is more the comic relief.
Whether he just gets directed that way and they just go, oh, just do the Chris Pratt thing, and he's like, okay.
But Denzel was definitely the standout for me. Here's a guy that's acting in a league above everybody else. Actually, Ethan Hawke brought it.
Yeah, he was very good too.
There's 2 guys that have been in better movies that are going, oh, well, we're going to treat this as if it's a better movie than it is.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely that sense of Chris Pratt, them going, hey, Chris, do you want to be a cowboy? And him going, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Because he just got to do some cool stuff, did some cool stunts, and had a good time. Like, that's what I really felt out of Chris Pratt in that movie.
I 100% agree with you, but there's an element there where I always feel like he's playing. Here's Chris Pratt on a set playing
a cowboy,
playing make believe. And I think it's harder to sort of accept him in that. Whereas that very first shot of Denzel's face, like, God, he has presence. Like, he's just boring a hole through the people he's looking at, and you go, like, this is a guy that you do not fuck with, and you just know that straight away, which is really good. I think I didn't have high expectations. I think it needed to be like one better than The Ridiculous Six. But I thought at the same time, I'm not worried if it's one less than The Hateful Eight. I expected it to be kind of in the middle. And it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I think, if one's a 2-star, one's a 3-star, and one's a 4-star, then that's probably about the case. So I'd put this at like a 3.
I think you're being generous saying that Ridiculous 6 is a 2.
Oh, look, it has a Native American character called Beaver Breath. It's brilliant.
I think I lasted about 20 minutes.
No, I watched the whole
movie.
thing, and God, and I know you've been watching Screen Queens. If you want to see more comedic, Taylor Lautner, he's a genius.
Okay,
comedic genius.
I'll just take your word for it. I think,
Yeah, you know how like Jim Carrey played Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon. That movie came out. Oh, that was great. Look out for the Taylor Lautner biopic in the future. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but that's what I think's going to happen.
Okay.
Serious hat for a moment. It's a cowboy hat, though.
It's really big.
To look the part it is.
Yeah.
Well, it holds 10 gallons.
Well, that's true.
I don't know what a gallon is. Plus my thread. Oh, yeah, okay. This is my real talk problem with the film. Is that I realised that the original... Well, what... Is it the original, what, 50s, 60s, 70s?
60s.
60s. Okay, so it would have been a pretty bloodless affair. It would have been a sort of for everybody Western.
Yeah, I
To a
guess
degree.
they're limited in their, I guess, technology and stunt ability. So, yeah, it was, you don't see much blood, and it is not... Like, it's violent, but essentially it's just a shootout, there's a pop, there's a bang, someone falls over.
Yeah, and I can understand that they go, okay, we're remaking a classic movie, so, let's not do this as an M or an R, we're going to do a PG. I can understand that studio mentality. Oh, we've got Chris Pratt in this, let's try and get this to as broad an audience as possible. But the thing for me is, it's not a kids' movie. It's not a movie for kids in the slightest. The themes are quite serious. There's talks about murder and rape and stuff. And a huge amount of people die in this film. And our heroes are gunning them down and stabbing them and just outright murdering everybody. Also a lot of, church and God imagery and talking about God, which is such a weird juxtaposition for me, this idea of these guys going, I'm a God-fearing man and I just murdered another 10 people. It's like, yeah, you might want to look at your commandments again. But that's a reflection of what America is today, really. I mean, look, hey, everyone's got a gun and just shooting recklessly while going, I love Jesus, bang, bang, I'm murdering people, but I'm sure that commandment's open to interpretation. But anyway, it's becomes, especially in the third act, which is the inevitable confrontation. For me, it becomes really weak there because it's just like watching a Wild West stunt show. Because of, and I feel like the director is capable of a lot more. I imagine it was a studio restriction because I think he appears to be a very capable director. He's got great shots, great performances. But suddenly it's so quickly cut and it's like everybody that has something violent happen to them is in such a quick shot and there's no blood and there's no stakes for me. You just go, oh, there's another blurry hat and beard falling out of frame. I can understand if that's an homage to the original, but then what are you saying? Why is it engaging? Whereas when I think about scenes in even older films, things like the beach landing in Saving Private Ryan, or newer films like the way that the colonial violence was shown in The Revenant, you just think this film just doesn't have anywhere to go because it doesn't even have the I can understand if you're going a bit frivolous and whimsical with it. The third act of the Lone Ranger movie, if anyone's managed to last that far, is actually really a great action sequence, and that's a bloodless action sequence. But it's inventive and it's action-adventure. It's Indiana Jones kind of territory. And I think if you're going to do it for PG and for everyone, Indiana Jones sort of style action-adventure is fine. Or, you might have a bloodless shootout. But if it's going to be 30 minutes of carnage, it just felt like a cop-out. I just felt like going through the motions for me. And I think that when you look at what Tarantino's doing, whether it's Hateful Eight or or Django Unchained, where everyone's a blood pinata, he's paying homage to those old films and he's taking elements from those old films, but he's putting a very modern sensibility on them, and he's saying something about the violence or playing with the violence, and it just can't live up to that for me. It just fell flat by the time you sort of got through that. Not that it's suddenly a train wreck or anything, but I just think I don't know what this movie wants to be and who it's ultimately for.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I do disagree to a point. I saw it as almost just Western fantasy. It's not striving to give you realism. They're not real men bleeding real blood from real wounds. It's just a rompy type movie that reflects something like you know, like I used to watch Tombstone so much when I was a kid. Like I watched it over and over and over again, and it gave me that feeling like that. Like that's not an entirely bloodless movie, but you know, they're shooting a lot of people and they're not pissing out blood. And then something like Young Guns or Texas Rangers, and then this, like that feels like it's where it's hitting for me, and it did have that sort of sense of nostalgia. I know you're going to say that they're products of their time, but I think that it's okay to not necessarily have everything super violent and hyper real all the time. Like I was perfectly happy with
I
it,
think it's
with
probably
the way it was.
problematic now, though, because you're right, I am going to say they're products of their time, but when you look at, like, gun violence now and the sort of absolute reluctance to address that issue and the way that it's kind of normalized and everything, I think, like, by all means, you know, it's a Western. It's set in the late 1800s. Like, have your massive gun battle, but show what these things are actually like. Because I would accept that it was a romp if it wasn't for the fact that certainly Denzel and Ethan Hawke aren't playing it like a romp. They're playing it like it's a serious adult movie. They're really playing it straight, and they're really throwing themselves in there. But suddenly, it's not anymore. So it's sort of slipping away around them while they continue. And the villain is good in this as well. I think he has a lot of presence, and I think he does a good job. So I think the elements are there, and I think this was never going to be a movie that is going to like do huge at the box office.
No,
it just doesn't have that appeal. So considering that it was already something niche, I just wish that they'd gone for the art of it more, I suppose, and the craft of it more, and just really committed to the story and said, well, you know, what are these things like, rather than just glorifying it and saying, you know, because there's a lot of we don't want to spoil anything, and I don't know if you can spoil a remake of, but by the end of it, you do have a lot of questions as to, well, was this really a great thing? You know, are these people better off? Are they, you know, and the film just sort of dances over that, which I can imagine a film in the 60s would. But I think if you're going to go back to old ideas, it is interesting to look at how we see them today. We've just been talking about Back to the Future facetiously, but one of the things that interests me about that film, when you listen to the commentary, is the director's going, it's such an 80s capitalist fantasy, like when he comes back, and it's something that we wouldn't be comfortable with now. But at that time, that idea of coming back and going, well, I've got the car, I've got the girl, I've my family's, you know. So I think it's more interesting if you were going to remake something like that, and to actually look at that and sort of see, because now you watch those films through a different lens, and you go, you know, God, your mother's rapist is like the indentured slave that's still at the house all the time. Like, it's so weird. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel there's always this, it takes time. I feel like we're always like fighting the wave here. I don't think the opinions I have about this sort of stuff are particularly popular. But there's always a time where things that we're watching now, 10 years, 20 years or whatever, we look back and go, oh, like the values in this or the attitudes in this were just crazy. Like when I was watching fucking Jingle All the Way, and the pink stuffed tiger character gets called a fag by a kid and kicked and stuff, and you go, oh shit, and I've seen that film before, never saw that before. Or Bill and Ted, like watching something like that.
Yeah.
And I just think that we're on the cusp of things sort of changing in that way, where we're going to start, because I'm having that experience. I'll talk about it when we talk about TV with, or maybe I should just talk about it now, well, with MasterChef, because I think that just won the Emmy for like best reality show or whatever, and I watch it, and value-wise, it's complete like propaganda, like in a crazy way. It's that pure capitalist, you work hard, you do it for your mum, do it for your sister, do it for your children, you've got to succeed, you've got to do this, you've got to slave your, you know, this is the American dream. They say it a billion times. The show's its own advertising machine. It's constantly saying, this is the best opportunity, these chefs are so great, you are so lucky to be here. and people are like, I've given up my job to even audition because you can't get a day off of work in America. And then when you see their American dream, it's, we're cooking burgers for 500 people and getting screamed at. And you're like, whoa.
And then crying because our anxiety is through the roof.
Yeah, and it's like, but don't you want to succeed? Don't you want this opportunity? And of course, 90% of them will get nothing. But that 1% might get something, you know, and it's just crazy. I know that didn't add up, but it seemed to make more sense to go for the 1% reference. So you know what I mean? Like, you suddenly look at that and you go, oh, and the other thing that's really insidious about that show and other reality shows like it, and I've seen this a lot, if there's a competitor that comes, it's a fine line, that comes on that is not American. So, like, I think it was a Venezuelan guy, or an Asian person, or there's an American girl, but she was Muslim and she had a headscarf, but she had the American accent. They will always say in their introductory clips, I want the American dream, I love America, this has so many more opportunities here than in my own, and always getting the audience on side of, oh, I love America. I might not be from here, but I want the American dream. And it's like, what the fuck is the American dream? What a weird abstract. And then, of course, they always have the episode where they cook for the American heroes. Yeah, and it's a total propaganda machine. They should call it Master Race. It's bullshit. And I think it's one of those things that people just watch at the moment and can take for granted. Yeah, it wins a fucking Emmy. But I can imagine in 10, 20 years, we're going to look at that and we're going to go, this stuff's fucking just like brainwashing. It's awful. Still watching season after season of it.
It's funny, I've never seen the US one. I've watched the Australian one. The Australian one's nothing like that. Well, everyone, once they get kicked off, they get like endorsement deals for tomato sauce and stuff like that. They're fine. Everybody in the Australian one is fine.
Well, can you imagine the Australian dream?
It's like a white picket fence.
The other thing is, a lot of people say things like, oh, I'm sharing my food with this other person because that's what we do on the East Coast, or Philadelphia represent, or in Jersey we do this. What I just can't get behind that mentality. Like, aren't you a fucking individual? Like, I can't imagine me ever going, hey, well, in West Australia, that's what we do, baby! Or like, yeah, Perth! As like I exit a room or something. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Big rant, but it's actually segueing into my other rant about the pre-show stuff that we saw, because this is all connected. Yeah. I can pause. Do you want to add anything to this?
No, I have not. I have not watched your Master Race.
My Master Race.
I'll take your word for that one. I'm not surprised though.
No, but just in terms of when we're talking about us being on that cusp of attitudes changing and everything. In the pre-show before the movie today, we've got this sort of ad thing done by the ANZ Bank here, which is about
the wage gap.
Wage gap, yeah. So they show kids doing the same chores, and then the kids react to the boys getting paid more than the girls. And when you see it, like, just the idea just stripped bare like that, these little girls going, well, I did the same work.
Yeah, the boys get $10 and the girls get $7, and they're like, but what's with this? Yeah.
And it was funny because the guy sitting behind us started to immediately justify it to his female partner.
I started to kind of hear that. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this because I feel like it's going to make me a little bit angry.
Him to say, no, this
He's like, well, they don't do the same work. Yeah. And I was like, shut the fuck up, asshole.
And he's like, oh, and this is just all emotional. It's like, oh, it's children. So you're like, whoa, you know, but, and it's like, fucking, yeah. But he'll die soon, so that's okay. I don't mean because I just mean he was an older ideas. But then it's so funny to sort of watch that and have that moment where you think, yeah, like, that's kind of weird. And then we get the Jack Reacher trailer, which prominently features I can't remember her name because they didn't flash it up on the...
Kobe Smulders, dude.
I know, but they don't flash it up on the screen. She's on the screen all the time, and then it's just a big Tom Cruise. No mention of her whatsoever. It's sort of like the trailer almost plays like, okay, you know, this is him and this is his closest next person.
Yeah.
Not there. And then straight after that we get Inferno, the next chapter in the Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks in a horrible hairpiece with Felicity Jones. And then we see a big poster of them together. she's standing slightly behind him, and it's like Tom Hanks, no mention of her. And again, like, I was fucking going, oh, is that Gemma Arterton? Was that for... Because it's like they don't flash the fucking names up. There was
Bodes pretty well for Rogue One that you can't even recognise it.
No,
the
I
female
can't,
lead
I
after
can't.
watching that trailer about 400 times.
And there's the, you know, it's the same with, then you watch Magnificent Seven, and there's the main female character in that. I don't know who it is. I don't know who that actress is, because, again, they're not pushing that name. It's all the big Denzel, Chris Pratt, etc. Like, she had to still fucking turn up every day.
Yes, she did.
And,
A dirty, filthy dress.
she looked like Jennifer Lawrence Light.
She did!
Didn't she?
I was thinking that towards the end, there was like a really kind of intense scene where she was like intense face, and I was like, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah. Who you get when... It's like...
She's like the home brand Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, well, there were ads in the shopping centre today for the... Is it called The New Girl? And it's just big posters of Jessica Marais.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen her go past on a bus as well.
Yeah.
And,
it's like the other girl or something like that. Yeah.
And she... The wrong girl?
Yeah, wrong girl.
Yeah. And she used to go out with a friend of mine that I worked with, and she'd come to a couple of those parties and things, and I thought, I bet she's getting a lot of interest suddenly because Margot Robbie's doing so well. And it's like, one of the black blonde Australian sort of people who are on smaller shows have we got floating around that we can do something with? So there's that sort of thing that happens.
Yeah, I think Jessica Marais did go over to Hollywood after she was on Pact of the Rafters for a long time. When that finished, I think she went over.
She did is it Magic City or something like that?
Can't remember.
Yeah, did something.
Anyway,
but now she's like running into posters of her everywhere.
Yeah, it's quite a good show actually.
My boyfriend used to say, "She's hot, eh? She looks like Cameron Diaz."
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, she doesn't. She's very pretty, but she doesn't. Yeah.
This was back in the day.
That's a cool story, bro.
You like my story?
Yeah, it's a good story.
That's another exclusive.
Yeah.
Right here. First half hour of this show, people are like, "Oh, hang on, why did I miss this?" And now they're like, "Oh, that's why I missed this."
Yeah.
Because it's fucking gold. I just talk so much. This is all yours. Talk about these new TV things that are happening.
So TV week this week. Everything's coming back. New things are starting. I watched a few bits and pieces and caught up on a couple of shows that I do enjoy that have come back. The first one I'll talk about is called Pitch, which is a baseball TV show.
I was going to say, I have not heard of this, and now I know why.
It's actually really, really good. It's about a African-American girl becoming the very first female Major League Baseball player.
Oh, cool.
And it's not like a true story or anything. It's just like a fictional account of it.
I figured that much.
Yeah, you don't know sports, man.
Okay.
So, it could have come under your radar.
I'm a good pitcher.
Okay.
Tent pitcher. Oh.
Can I get through one segment without you derailing
Go
me? And so it's actually really, really well done because the sort of thing that it kind of focuses on, they treat her and they frame her as, a real professional athlete the same way you would see like Kobe Bryant or someone like that kind of depicted getting ready for her game. And what they're sort of focusing on here is the idea that she is this this icon and this great hope for so many young girls and girls of colour, and she's such a hero without necessarily being prepared to be that and not kind of dealing with that overly well.
Mm.
And that was really interesting. And ultimately, when she does first go out there and there's this big, press thing and the pole ground is sold out and it's this incredible weight of expectation on her. And ultimately, she fails in that first game. And she feels like, she's not only failed herself, she's failed her family, she's failed every little girl around the whole country. And it's sort of about her picking herself up and kind of moving forward with that. And it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be this silly, fluffy, league of their own, everything turns out well sort of thing. But no, it's like, well, this is the reality of it, and it's hard and it's shitty and we have to claw our way even when we think we've got to the top. There's still so far to go kind of thing.
Like MasterChef.
Just like MasterChef, mate.
Propaganda.
And
I feel like I've let down my little girl because I burnt my pie.
Yeah. And it's good, and it's got Mark Paul Glossier, Zach from Saved by the Bell.
Brilliant.
He's in it, so I was just like, fuck yeah.
Zach Attack.
Yeah, I still would. He didn't.
Yeah,
he
right.
doesn't look like he did in the 90s, but
Fine. It's fine for guys.
yeah. He's looking a bit. He's shared some of Jon Favreau's pies.
Guys, like, it can be even like 60 and they look really good, and then there's suddenly that point where they become like senile old man and then they just disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a puff of dust.
Yeah. Mel Gibson's not far off that.
No, fuck. Watch Bloodfather and tell me that. No, he looks good.
Oh no, but I'm saying he's not far. Like it's that tipping
Oh,
point.
suddenly it just happens.
Yeah, it just suddenly happens. Yeah.
But not for a while.
Yeah. Scream Queens, as we had been speaking about
Yes.
previously, has returned. They are now, they've moved on from the fraternity house. They're now working in a hospital for reasons that they do kind of hastily explain during the first episode.
I've only watched the first. You've watched the first two.
Yes, yeah. So the core Chanels are back. There's main Chanel number 3, and Chanel number 5. And yes, they're in a hospital, and oh goodness, people start getting murdered.
Yeah.
And then we have to work out who the murderer is. So it's pretty much like the first season, but in a hospital, and a few different people tagging along the sort of the outskirts of there. There is Taylor Lautner, the aforementioned Taylor Lautner.
Yes.
Who is actually quite funny. And John Stamos, speaking of men aging well...
Yeah, he looks good.
Holy shit, John Stamos.
Yeah, good to see him back. And, yeah, I love the core trio of Chanels that they've got there, which is Emma Roberts, Abigail Breslin, which I'm really struggling with because I don't feel like Little Miss Sunshine is as old as it is.
It is. It's a while
It's like
ago.
10 years ago or something. Because she's Little Miss Sunshine, but now she's like not.
Yeah, she's
She's blossomed.
she has
bloomed. and Billy Lord, who is of course Carrie Fisher's daughter, and who rocks the Princess Leia hairstyle sometimes in earmuffs the rest of the time. But yeah, I love seeing those three together. I think they're a real powerhouse. I enjoyed the cast in general. A bit of what's his face at the beginning as well.
Oh, Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice little blast from my past. I get excited whenever I see him. Love him.
Even in Stand By Me.
No, he was little tacker then.
Little fatty tacker
Little
then.
fatty tacker. No, sliders. Oh god, I love sliders.
I love sliders.
And like the beef sliders.
Yeah.
Yeah. In episode 2, my buddy Chad Radwell comes back.
Oh,
Very
sweet.
exciting.
look
I
forward to
love
that.
Chad Radwell.
Yeah, look, I thought it was still really well written. I like the characters, but I got to say there was nothing that really happened that.
Yeah, it's not sparking yet, but
that I really cared about. But it's fun to watch.
yeah, absolutely. Like it's not there's no cliffhangery real thing. We're thinking, oh my god, I can't wait till next week. It's just, well, I've spent an hour with these characters that make me laugh out loud at least once or twice during the episode, and that's all you can ask for, really.
And I would order all three Chanel's.
Okay, cool. The other one that came back was, of course, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is another favourite of mine. We were being promised Ghost Rider this season.
Did they deliver that promise?
They
or was it all...
sure did.
They did.
Yeah, in the first episode, you get full Ghost Rider, Flaming Head, whole lot.
Sea skull, flames.
Yeah, you see everything. And I actually thought that they would drag that out for a couple of episodes, make it a little bit more mysterious before you saw him. But like, no, you want Ghost Rider? Here's Ghost Rider.
He's your
Have
Ghost
at him.
Rider, pal.
Yeah, so he looks okay. Like, he does look a bit TV-ish. Like, the skull's very kind of shiny and sort of weird looking, but yeah, the guy playing him has like no charisma whatsoever.
I haven't watched this yet. I'm behind a season and a half, and I'm kind of tempted to just watch this Ghost Rider stuff, and if it excites me to go back and fill in the gap, because I'm not too worried about continuity, I'm sure I'll be able to pick it up. But that worries me about the charisma thing, because you kind of want to feel like any named Marvel character that is coming in to TV, movies, anything
could switch out into the
is
MCU,
going to be on par.
Yeah.
You know, Charlie Cox did it.
Yeah.
Luke Cage is great. So is Jessica Jones. I'm sure Iron Fist will be fine once he does his Doctor Strange origin story. But yeah, if this guy's not up to it, then it's like, yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
I thought
look,
Elektra wasn't up to it either. Punisher was.
God, Elektra was awful. Maybe he sort of finds his footing a little bit later on, but at the moment it's a little bit, he's hanging out with Daisy's character quite a lot, and I really like her, so up against her, he just seems like a bit of a wet fish, but, maybe the character will develop a little bit more, and we'll see, but at the moment he's not kind of the tortured, soul to the devil character that I was really expecting.
And speaking of Luke Cage, that series will be going live right about now.
Yeah, I just checked my Facebook and people are going, it's up. So,
there we go.
Yeah.
So we are recording this on the Friday. I imagine I will have watched it all by Monday, but we'll have to talk about that next week.
Yes, we will.
I'm going to be drawing a comic and watching Luke Cage. First, I was a bit nervous about it. I thought of Luke Cage. I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah.
But then, no, it turns out it's not something that
you have to worry about.
Is about me at all.
Yeah. Oh, something that's not about you.
Yeah.
How weird.
I know. I watch it anyway.
Yeah. And the last one. Okay. I have many feelings about this. Like, if we're talking about, like, we don't like to shit too much on remakes, right? We like things to give things a go. And not just immediately dismiss things because they are a remake of something old. Yeah?
Oh, look, a
Safe to say?
remake can be great. I think this is exactly what I was talking about before with the movies. I think that remakes, there's a real great opportunity to take an older idea and put that new twist on it, figure out what it's about. That's why I like the new Muppet thing. Other people, I want it to be like it was in the 70s. Like, fuck you, it's not the 70s anymore. Like,
Don't
let
watch
it
the old
evolve.
show. Yeah. So the MacGyver show premiered this week, and I don't want to be one of those shitheads that are like, oh, this thing ruined my childhood, but I think that maybe this has ruined my childhood a little bit, yeah. So MacGyver is played by, is it Havoc? Is it the Havoc guy from X-Men?
Lucas Haas?
Lucas Till, I think.
Lucas Till?
Yeah. I think it's Lucas Till.
I think you're right.
Anyway, yeah, so it's just a guy, and he's called Mac. Angus MacGyver.
Has he got a mullet?
He hasn't got mullet. He's got like long hair.
I didn't watch this, but I kind of feel like I did a little bit because
I kept sending you pictures.
You kept messaging me about it, and we were riffing on it.
Yeah,
and I kind of enjoyed. See, look, I mean, MacGyver was part of my childhood, but it couldn't ruin my childhood because it wasn't that important a part. Like, I can't imagine MacGyver, the old MacGyver, being watchable now.
It is. I still watch it when it's on TV, and I still enjoy it. Though there's a lot of nostalgia, obviously, wrapped up in that, and whether someone these days who has never really watched it could watch it and not find it silly and quaint, I don't know.
God, we were in a food court last week.
Yes.
And they were showing Bewitched.
Yes.
On the TV. God, like, she was adorable. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, watching Magnificent Seven, there was this, like, kid who looked like Alden Ehrenreich in it, like new Han Solo guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, hello. And I looked him up and he's dead. And I'm like, oh, okay.
He's dead?
He's dead.
In real life?
Yeah. Well, he's like old.
Oh, in the original
The original one. Yeah. The original one. Like, they're all dead now. Yeah. Anyway. What was I talking about? Fucking MacGyver. So, this thing is just the most generically awful thing that I have ever seen. Like, it assumes its audience is so stupid that it has to...
Probably a pretty safe assumption.
But it, like, there's assuming that your audience is stupid, but then telling your audience that you think that they are stupid. Like, it spells everything out on the screen. Like, literally everything that Mac does when he's, like, looking for some little contraption to, like, solve something. And they'll put it on the screen as, like, an equation. Like, paperclip plus chewing gum equals... Like, and he used a paperclip to do something like 3 times throughout the episode, and every time he had a fucking paperclip in his hand, there would be a little caption that came up that said, paperclip. Like, I know it's a fucking paperclip, you dipshits!
Yeah, see, I think, a lot of us are pretty paper-free now. I live pretty paper-free.
Uh-huh.
At work, if, like, somebody tries to give me a printout or, like, a meeting agenda, I'm paper-free. Someone says, like, oh, have you got a bit of paper so we can jot this down? So, no, I don't.
Okay.
Have you got a paperclip I can borrow? As if. They go, oh, do you have liquid paper? I'm like, I don't make mistakes. So, yeah, I don't have paper. So, I can imagine, like, young people being really confused by a paperclip.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were doing that for everything, like, I saw they labelled electronics.
Yes, he's up inside the guts of a plane, and he looks to his left, and he sees some electronics labelled, and he looks to his right, and he sees some hydraulics labelled.
I just think, if I was writing MacGyver, and, I'd say I came in to do it, not writing it, like, let's say I was brought into script doctorate. I had to, polish this draft.
Yeah.
It would end with him getting some files and having to paperclip them together, but realising he didn't have a paperclip because he's used them to solve all his problems.
Yep.
So then he would get 2 other things and create a paperclip out of them. And you'd be like... And then someone would say, like, I assume there's someone who sits behind a desk or something like that, would go, MacGyver, you've done it again, they would say. And then it'd be the credits. And his paper...
It's all clipped.
It's attached.
Yeah.
It's together.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just dumb. All the CGI explosion-y stuff just looks so TV and awful, and if I didn't think it could get any worse, the final scene where they kind of established the Phoenix Foundation just made me want to, like, roll my eyes so hard that they fell out of my head. It was just absolutely tragic, and I cannot fathom ever wanting to watch this shit again.
So, I don't know, look, I'm just making an assumption here. You can tell me if I'm right or not. But it's one of those weird things because there's so much TV that just looks like absolute shit.
Yes.
And then there's just all this, like, amazing stuff happening, like, obviously Game of Thrones and The Get Down and all this Netflix stuff. So is it just the fact that network TV looks like a heap of shit? Because I even feel that, like, the gulf between how S.H.I.E.L.D. looks and how, Daredevil looks, for example. But then how is that so? You'd think that the, like, big networks would have more money.
Yeah. I have no idea. Like, I don't know how this thing got greenlit on the back of this pilot, because it is the dumbest, most wretched pile of shit.
Yeah, never underestimate how dumb your audience is, though. That's DreamWorks' whole philosophy.
Yeah.
As trolls booty dance across the screen today before the movie.
Oh, goodness, that was something.
Giving me a whole 3 months to get excited about this thing. Anyway, is that the show?
Yeah, I think so. I think I did have something else I wanted to say about MacGyver, but I think I'll just let that one go and
just open up the MacGyver thing again,
and just boot it into the deep depths of the ocean and never think about it ever again.
I think you're gonna go back to it. I think that was a pilot. I think you're gonna need a second dip just to be sure. I reckon.
I don't know if I can.
I reckon it's gonna catch you at a moment of weakness, and you're just gonna go, fuck it, let's MacGyver this up.
That's the thing, if I have a moment of weakness, like, I'll just go back and watch original MacGyver, and then if I can't watch that, then I'll just go and watch the MacGyver redo that was called the Pretender, which was much better than this shit, and I'll watch that instead.
I would like to see a fan edit of that pilot episode where everything is labelled. Like, everything. Like, he's just walking around, and it's like that bit in Fight Club with the furniture with all the text on the screen. It's just everything is like shoes, hair, car, person, girl, other girl, boss man, all that stuff.
Oh! Speaking of the boss man friend, he's got his little token black friend. Who he lives with, and he's all like, yo, what's up? And I'm just like, oh, this is just getting worse and worse by the minute.
Yeah.
Every second, it's getting just more and more hideous.
So,
So yeah, subject yourself to that if you hate yourself.
we go over. I'm yawning. That's not very professional. I want to cough too. I might have a little cough. There we go.
Right now?
It's just spoken too long.
Yeah.
Like all dry. I only had like 4 hours sleep last night as well.
Oh, okay.
Just like a fucking drawing machine. What would they
Like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah.
That's kind of a drawing machine, isn't it? Spirograph.
It is a drawing machine.
One of those. Yeah, absolutely. Had both as a kid. I recommend would draw again. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for accepting us crawling back, for your approval after skipping a week. Next week, I believe we're going to see Miss Pelican's school for amusing
Injured amphibians.
baby reptiles.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. And you can go to fruitlesspursuits.com to find out everything that's happening. Book Was Better still on hiatus, and I'll put this out to any listener who is one of the occasional co-hosts as well. If anyone wants to read a book, I'll do a show, and I think I've got one lined up because somebody, a new guest actually, has read a book and done some notes, which I need to get hold of. I've just been very busy. Hopefully there'll be some odd Book Was Better episodes peppered around as well. But fruitlesspursuits.com gives you links to iTunes. Rate, review us. I didn't even check to see if anybody did that thing where you like rate us and then you just write some silly nonsense review or sentence or whatever.
Well, he hasn't checked, so you've got until next week to
do that.
It. Yeah.
And go to our Facebook page, join the discussion. We'll talk to you and stuff. Fun times. The end.
Goodbye.